Support independent media and leave the smoldering ruins of corporate idiocy behind with Second Wind logo products from DFTBA. Head on over to shop.secondwindgroup.com for shirts, stickers, and the satisfaction of helping sustain a worker-owned outlet. Plus, we've got cool bird merch, and everyone loves cool birds.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Windbreakers podcast. I'm Yahtzee, I'm over my flu. I'm joined by Jay and Marty.
Welcome, everyone.
And to mark the season of Easter, we thought it would be a lovely time to talk about resurrection as a game mechanic. Although, having said that, you know Easter existed before Jesus did, right?
You seem like the kind of guy who's said this a lot. You go to like a kid's Easter party while they're hunting for eggs, and your kids gather around. Did you know this was a corporate holiday created by Hallmark?
Hey, I've got nothing against kids searching for eggs, because eggs are in line with the original meaning of Easter. Easter was a spring festival. It was a pagan spring festival. And as part of the effort to convert the Roman Empire to Christianity, the Emperor Constantine the Great co-opted a lot of existing festivals and retconned them as insignificant events in the Christian calendar. So Easter became Jesus' death, even though it almost certainly wasn't, and Christmas became Jesus' birth.
The fact is, someone's listening to hardcore history.
The fact is, almost every culture has a spring festival and a midwinter festival, because those are the times of year when everyone wants to have a festival. They very rarely have anything to do with Jesus.
I thought you were just going to say with Jay, and I was like, I don't think
shit, this has nothing to do with me.
I didn't realize I was at fault here.
But having nailed my colours to the mast, resurrection, yes.
You can't talk about nailing with the resurrection. That's not appropriate.
Well, I can actually, because Easter's got nothing to do with Jesus, it turns out. Anyway,
even if it was, it would be wholly appropriate. That is what we're
wholly appropriate with H.
Yeah,
let's talk about resurrection mechanics in games. I'm talking about video game mechanics, not just dying and coming back to life, but games that do it in an interesting way, either narratively, gameplay wise, something that you point at and you're just like, it's neat. And I put the large-breasted woman from Overwatch in front of the pearly gates on the thumbnail. Mercy. I don't know what her deal is, but I think she resurrects.
Have Mercy.
I don't know why it never registered up until I saw that thumbnail that Mercy has surprisingly large tits.
You know what? Because you're an ally, and you know that the two greatest thing on someone's body are their eyes during a conversation.
Two best orbs are in the head.
I guess it makes sense with Mercy being a very maternal character, and I'm going to stop that thought right where it is.
Sure.
Yes,
that's great.
So we all know that resurrection is a part of games simply because death is such an inherent part of games. It's the classic failure state. We run out of health and we die. And I've always felt that resurrection is an important thing to consider when you're thinking about how a game flows, how a game paces itself. Because there's nothing more annoying than getting beaten over the head for making a mistake. And if you die and the game goes, ha ha, what a pillock, let's focus on how much of a pillock you are for a while before I grudgingly allow you to reload a save.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of there was a game called Ecstatica on the in the old PC game days, where every time you die, you have to watch a prolonged cutscene of your character dangling from a ceiling while a bunch of monsters went, hey, we had a good time doing that. Let's go out and kill his family as well. Ha 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 ha.
Oh God.
But I always think there's a formula to be coded here. The amount of time that passes between being punished for failure and being able to get back to the point you were in before you made the mistake is an important factor in calculating the flow value of a game, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the inherent thing with horror games, which is they extend that distance to apply more pressure to the threat of death. But in a lot of games, especially action ones, I think that distance being shorter and more concise is really important.
Yes.
What interests me is the games that contextualize the resurrection as like a diegetic thing. Like this is happening in the universe. You are coming back rather than, oh, we are just respawning, because death and respawning has been in millions of games and is just you're doing it again because you fucked up, not necessarily that the character themselves are coming back.
I know. It's funny because, from all practical purposes, reloading your last quick save is functionally the same as just, resurrecting on the spot. But gamers complain if it's not contextualized as dying and reloading. I give you the example of the original Prey from 2006. What was it? 6? I believe. 2006.
What did they do there?
Well, the main character of the game just doesn't die ever because they have Native American magic. Every time they die or run out of health, they get teleported to an astral plane where they shoot little squids that fly through the air with their bow and arrow. And the more red-colored squids you shoot, the more health you have when you resurrect, and the more blue ones you shoot, the more magic you have when you resurrect.
What?
Yeah, which has been a mechanic that kind of like fight to survive. Will send you to a kind of limbo that you have to exist in for a little bit before you can get back. Has been that's been a mechanic in a handful of games. But I always do remember that in Prey, and them being like, oh, this is like a selling point. Look how diegetic this is. But after the first time, you're like, I would have rather just died and restarted. I would have rather just had a loading screen with a tooltip or something, and then gotten back into the.
People complained because there was no loss of time. You just went straight back to the moment when you died. Mm-hmm. And diegetically, it sort of raised a lot of questions, like why are the enemies continuing to oppose us when we are clearly immortal and nothing they can do can stop us?
Yeah, you just lay down for a bit and then just sit back up like you're like Michael Myers or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's on an idea board in like a brainstorming session. That is really cool. I feel like in implementation they should have realized pretty quickly, like, oh, this actually gets pretty stale.
It
relatively quickly.
And I'd say it illustrates how important the context of these things is. Like when if we call it you failed and you died, and you had to reload to a different timeline where you didn't make that mistake, versus you stayed within that same series of events but came back to life because of magic.
Yeah.
Functionally the same, but people treat it differently because of context. And I will bring that up anytime someone tells me the story doesn't matter in a game. So there.
Yeah, fair. I also think it's interesting where you do that resurrection. You raised a good point there, which is, okay, it wouldn't take long for someone to mention this, but like Sekiro does it in a way that's diegetic and also resurrects you at the exact point and gives you another fighting chance. And 9 times out of 10, or actually probably 10 times out of 10, you're resurrected in combat because that's how you died. So it's always frantic. It's always like raw. But I made an episode about it years ago about death and how it's really important how you manage death, because if you are resetting to a point where you have to replay a level, the player is then repeatedly understanding not just where to go, but how to combat enemies, and it becomes a chore. Just like we spoke about, Prey's resurrection became this chore that you had to go through again. You can get that with going through the same level, if there isn't a suitable amount of challenge. So where you resurrect them as well is incredibly important.
I also like the recurring mechanic that, I don't know if it started in oh my god, I'm fucking blanking. What is the name of that really cute Metroidvania tough puzzle platformer? There's 2 of them. Ori in the Blind Forest. Jesus Christ. I kept thinking of Orb.
Yeah.
I was like, Orby. That had that one mechanic where you could put down a respawn point.
Save points.
Right?
Yeah.
You had a control over where you...
Only the first game did that. They dropped that for the second game, which was weird because it was one of their unique selling points.
And it's something that's been added to things like the Demon Tide, a game, Demon Surf and Demon Tide. Demon Tide just came out a few months ago. It's a 3D platformer. It does the same thing where you're able to, at a certain point in a tough platforming challenge, you could put down your flag and be like, this is my respawn point. But there's that give and take of, okay, I'm going to do it right here because this is the place that's always a pain in the ass for me to get through. But would it be better for me to do it right after I get through the pain in the ass things so that I could then never have to do that again? Which I always like.
It's a gamble, isn't it? It's like
the
deal
last
or
dungeon.
no deal.
Yeah.
No, it's
last
like the
dungeon
weakest
of
link when you
FF7.
say bank rather than take the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are obviously big Prince of Persia boys. We have we have kind of narrative reasons for a character not dying. Sometimes where the literal narrator will come in. Prince of Persia and Bastion both handled that, I think, in neat ways.
Yeah, there's a couple of games that do that, where the game is presented as a story being told by someone. So every time a character dies, they have to sort of like backstep and say, "No, actually, I just said the wrong thing." And you got to think about what the people listening to this story are thinking. There's one weirdo
that bad at telling stories.
And
then I died. Wait, no, I didn't.
I died. And I died. And then I died. Oh wait, no, I didn't. And then I died.
Is this even about you? Are you just making up this story as you go along?
Till I failed this platforming challenge 50 times in a row.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
The first time I remember seeing that was in Monkey Island 2, which is a game that there is a grand total of one place where you can die in it. And if you die in it, it cuts back to like the framing device of your character telling the story. And they're like, "Oh, okay, so you boiled horribly to death in a pool of boiling acid, did you?" Mm-hmm. And your main character goes, "Sorry, I was just trying to stall. I was just trying to like hurriedly get to the end so you could rescue me."
Yeah.
All right, here's the real story.
Yeah. I like it when a game acknowledges, "Oh, this can't happen because we wrote down an entire story for this game, and so you need to kind of get to the end." The time paradox things in Metal Gear Solid 3, like you trying
Fallout
to kill
does that as well, right?
Ocelot.
It's
does
like,
Fallout do
if I believe there's some stuff in Fallout. It might be 2 or 3, where if you kill specific NPCs, they're like, "Well, what you've done is you've just broken the story. We'll let you continue, but you're fucked." Like,
that's classic, isn't it? There's that classic.
There's no ending anymore.
Yeah,
everyone who's supposed to be there is dead.
Like, enjoy doing the open world, but no main quest.
There's that. Yeah, in Morrowind, there's like a recurring line of text. It's something like, "With the death of this character, the thread of fate is severed. Reload a save or proceed in this doomed world you have created."
That's the one.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Man, I feel
I like
out.
that though.
That's bleak.
Yeah.
What about games that mechanically have like a second chance mechanic? Whether that is, which I don't know if is necessarily resurrection, but stuff like Gears of War when you're grounded and a buddy needs to come over to kind of revive you, or even the kind of the slot machine rolling number hit points of Earthbound, to where you get a critical hit and your character is going to die, but the hit points are rolling down at a speed to where you can come in at the last minute and kind of be the saving grace.
I think the resurrection thing in Gears of War is useful for that, because Gears of War is a game where you're not really expected to avoid all of the damage. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very hard to take no damage whatsoever, because it's all about, tanking, like running to a safe spot, letting your health come back.
Your character even looks like a big, beefy, like punching bag that has taken a lot of damage in their life.
It's about keeping the flow of continually pushing forward to win the battle going. It wouldn't work so well in a game like, what should we say? I mean, something like Dark Souls. If you died and you had to wait for some Johnny to come over and bring you back to life in the middle of a boss fight, it wouldn't be the same.
Counterpoint.
Because that's more about precision than anything. And
can you do that in Night Rain?
Night Rain has that mechanic, yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They have it where you have to hit the person repeatedly when they're down with attacks to be
That's
able
really
to get
funny.
them up.
You just got to fucking bash them with your weapon?
You just bash them. They have like a ring around them, and it was of 3 quadrants, and you have to hit them enough to get them down. Some ultimates, you can use your ultimate to get the other person up. So it has 2 utilities with combat and also resurrection and healing, which is actually works really well. I was really skeptical of it when I first saw it in the trailers, but then when I got to play it, I was like, well, this actually really works well.
This is a whole other topic when we talk about multiplayer games. I think it would be quicker to list the multiplayer games that don't have some means by which a character can return to the fight after they've died. It's like the standard model for your classic deathmatch shooter. You die, you have to wait a little bit of respawn time, and then you come back.
I guess was it like Counter-Strike that kind of introduced like when you're dead, but matches are pretty quick?
Well, one that does
as you say, that works when the matches are pretty quick. But an interesting counterexample would be something like Friday the 13th, the game. I haven't played much Dead by Daylight. It might do the same thing. But characters die permanently in that because it's like a horror, high stakes sort of feel to it.
Dead by Daylight too.
And everyone's being like pared down to the final girl.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one...
But then you can spectate, and that's this whole other different kind of fun.
One of the examples that I'll do, because I'm the MMO twat, is within World of Warcraft. Obviously, when someone dies in combat, there are healers or certain classes that can resurrect people. They are canonically and diegetically bringing that person back to life. But there are also certain classes who have combat reses, which are the only ones that can be used in combat. But the difference with those is they will have like 10-minute timers on them. So using a combat res is really costly. But you can give someone that second chance if they like fucked up mechanics or something else. So there's a weird balance with how you use those, which is really fun.
Can I tell you something that might be interesting to fans of the Yahtzee verse?
Sure.
The YV?
Is that I've mentioned plenty of times that my first novel, Mogworld, was based on my experience playing World of Warcraft, but it was specifically the experience of coming back to life in World of Warcraft that inspired it.
Okay.
Because in World of Warcraft, you die and then you're in like the spirit world, and you have to walk all the way back to your corpse to come back to life.
That was the game I was thinking of when I was talking about other games that did it like Prey, where you go to a spirit world. I was like, oh yeah, wow, yeah.
And I noticed while like going through like the spirit world to get back to my corpse, if you look directly up, which there's no real reason to do, you notice that the sky is just full of this pant-wettingly huge sort of black hole vortex that's directly above you.
Yeah.
And it was that one sight, that surprise sight, that inspired the entire book. Because I thought, what is this? Is this some kind of alien entity that's ensuring nobody's allowed to permanently die in this world?
Yeah, that's cool.
How do people who live in this world feel about this thing?
Small detail as well is that when you die, you turn into a ghost of your character model. But if you play a night elf, when they die, they cannot turn into wisps. So in the afterlife world, you are a wisp. You're not a night elf model that has it like transparency turned down. It's a tiny wisp flying around, and you have to find your corpse. I don't know why. I like that attention to detail of being like you're a wisp in the lore.
Does that mean if a wisp dies in the afterlife, they're a night elf?
Yeah, it becomes an even smaller night elf until they infinitely get smaller and smaller.
Then they become a day elf. I like it when your lineage is passed down, which isn't necessarily resurrection, but stuff like your ancestors in Rogue Legacy. You're like, oh, this is my grandson, and he's nearsighted, so it is difficult for me to find items. Or I guess less lineage, but Watch Dogs Legion has the same thing if you play in permadeath mode. Like, also, your characters are consumable.
Zombie U as well.
Zombie U did it. Yeah, that's right. Where you'd have to go back to your body to find all your loot, and you'd have to murder your old self.
You have to kill your previous zombie self to get your stuff back. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not directly connected, but that just reminded me, Marty, of Sifu. Sifu, when you die, you're aging.
Yeah,
gaining
that's
experience.
That was probably one of the more recent interesting examples of how to handle death, to where you literally age every time you run out of health, you die, and then are reborn 1 year older, 2 years older, 4 years older, 8 years older, that kind of thing. And there are certain things like you have more, I think, stamina and health as a younger man. And then as an older man, you're a little bit slower, but you have certain moves or certain abilities are stronger. So it's not like a one-to-one. You're just getting worse.
You do more damage when you're older because you've learned with experience.
Yeah.
How does the respawning work in that game?
Again? You have like certain ticks on like a magic belt or something, or a magic charm.
But does it instantly put you in the same fight, or do you have to go through the area again? I can't remember.
Yeah, it puts you like wake up at the spot.
That's amazing, like the consequence, because what I'm assuming they're implying is what's happening is you're failing at that battle, and then you're taking years to get back to the point where you can do it again, right? Like that's how I interpret it.
I mean, I think it's magic. I think it's just magic.
Seems
like magic
that way.
Yeah, magic. Maybe he just goes to that Native American spirit realm with the dude from Prey 2006.
I'm sure someone on chat will explain. I like to think it's like it takes you years to get back to that point, and what they're doing is they're skipping over all the stuff you've just done to allow you to get back into the fight again. Skipping that point that I said was a problem with death is making people go through the same things over and over again. They're skipping it, but allowing you to have that narrative consequence of getting older.
I like that there's like two really bouncers at the club who are like, do you guys remember like 15 years ago a Kai came in and we beat his ass? I think he's back.
Yeah.
Also, how are we still working here? What the fuck?
Have we not gotten promoted yet?
Yeah. Tell you what, that's a Rogue Legacy Zombie U style. Like you come back as a different person. I assume that's what's going on in like Battlefield games, the multiplayer games.
Oh, sure.
Yes,
that would almost make the most sense in those. Like everyone's kind of a disposable grunt.
I think it's the opening of Battlefield 1. I think it's 1. What they do is you're playing as a soldier in World War One, and you get when you die, you don't respawn. The camera pans up and just moves to a different soldier and goes down, and then you play as them. And I believe it like flashes their name and like where they're from. And then if you die again, it moves again. I'm like, this is such a powerful message of like, look at all these people and how they were viewed as disposable, but they had lives, and you're just running them into the front lines and just killing them repeatedly. Was that 1 or 5? I can't remember.
I've had an idea for a game where there's like a stealth game, but every time you have to kill a guard, you're forced to wait there until you read a complete backstory for the person you just killed.
Their hopes, their dreams.
Yeah.
The happiest moment of their life.
And if you try to quit the game and come back, the game goes, right, well, where were we? And just proceeds with the story.
People whose lives will be fundamentally ruined because you've removed this person from their existence. Are there any examples of kind of like a one-off narrative moments with death like this that stand out to you, that games do an interesting thing with death or rebirth? The one that came to my mind is in God of War Ragnarok. I guess a slight spoiler for relatively early on in God of War Ragnarok. You have a boss fight against Thor, and he is beating your ass, and he beats you to the point where you die, and Kratos falls over, and the game over like tooltip screen starts before it loads you back in, and then you hear Thor's voice say something like, "I'm not done with you yet," and he puts his hammer on your chest and fucking defibrillates you back to life. And then the fight continues, and it was such a like. That is such a cool fourth wall breaking moment, especially for a god to do. Like, it makes sense that Thor would be able to like break the bounds.
It's masterful.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool. I'm not.
It shows the power
super
of
crazy
Thor.
about Ragnarok, but that moment is like
super awesome way to contextualize him coming back. Show the power of Thor, and also fourth wall breaking. It's just when I watched somebody play the entire game. One of my best friends. And I was bouncing in my seat when that happened. It was amazing.
Makes me think of the third Scarecrow section in Batman Arkham Asylum, where you've switched places with the Joker in the game's intro. Like you're strapped into the gurney, and then the Joker shoots you in the face. It cuts to a fake loading screen, and then it cuts to Batman digging his way out of a grave in Scarecrow's world.
Yeah. That's a trick that kind of always works on me. Even like the Kojima, like. Oh, did we go back to the starting screen, or what's going? Oh, it says Hideo in the corner of my screen instead of video. What's going on here?
I like Metal Gear Solid 3 with the fake death pill with the game over screen. I really did question the decision of when you take the fake revival pill to just play the death animation in reverse to have him stand up again.
Yeah, a little silly.
No, I just had one. It's gone.
Rip. Speaking of Kojima, Death Stranding also tries to narrativize its deaths by having Sam kind of void out.
It's very big on death.
Yeah, the fact that where you are very much encouraged narratively not to kill any of the soldiers out in the wild, to either,
Well, of course, there's a lot of games where death and resurrection is as a diegetic thing is part of the like overall setting. Like a lot of some of the roguelites like Hades, Hades is set in a world where everyone's immortal. So you die and everyone's just like, all right, see you back home then. And that has the effect of that death isn't so much like a stoppage as a pause, a sort of come down. That, okay, you tried your best, now let's have a little break, go into our corner, rub ourselves down with the towel, talk to our friends, have a little drinky. choose our weapon for the next run, and then start again. And that's part of what makes Hades so very Moorish, I find.
Yeah. I really like when you kind of raise the point where I think death, because it's such a thing that is going to, unless you're like Giga at the game, is going to be shown to the player repeatedly. It is a really powerful moment to then subvert player expectations. I think one of the most powerful ones and memorable ones for me is not necessarily a death, or you perceive it as a death, but then you realize it isn't, is the bag in Bloodborne, when you get grabbed by the bagman and you wake up in the prison rather than the... like that's breaking how death has worked, how lanterns have worked, in a really cool narrative way. And I vividly remember going there and being just like, what the fuck has happened, and being scared, like, oh no. And then I think you open the lantern and it's like you can't teleport out of it, and being like, I am trapped, I cannot leave. And that's such a powerful moment.
See also the first time you get killed by Seath the Scaleless in Dark Souls 1, and you wake up in his prison.
Yeah, in the Duke's Archives.
Hmm.
Yeah, Hollow Knight 2 had one last year, where you get tossed in prison and you're all naked. Hubba hubba. We all naked hornet.
Naked hornet.
Yeah,
I think you'd have to work pretty hard to get arousal out of Naked Hornet.
Challenge accepted. Challenge
Just like sticks.
just sticks.
Just like sticks.
Like getting off to one of those little things from the Blair Witch. That dangling from the tree.
Listen, I've been in this forest for a very long time. I need something to.
Whoa, I'm coming around to this.
Yeah.
I need something to get my sticks off.
Yeah.
Hey, Blair Witch, are you coming on to me with this?
This stick figure has massive Bodong Honkros.
Yeah. She put little pine cones where the tits are. I think she likes me.
How do you feel about the narrative justification throughout all of Assassin's Creed that has been, we could just desync you. We could say, oh, there's a technical hiccup, and either your ancestor wasn't a serial killer, or there's just a hiccup. We need to restart the system, kind of thing.
That works. I mean, it's less significant as the series goes on, and the whole branching future narrative sort of falls by the wayside.
Yeah, but that was always my least favorite thing in those games. Was the context for why you can desync and redo stuff is because it's history. They're telling history. So if you do something that
like you are a person experiencing this person's history.
Yeah. Obviously, Ezio didn't die at this point because then history would be different.
That's cool, but I found you're not playing as Ezio. You're actually playing as whoever in the future in the sterile environment. I was always bored by that as a child and just wanted to go back.
You must have been very annoyed by very annoyed by the original ending of Assassin's Creed 2, where Ezio, after all his trials, went to and found the ancient artifact, and the voice in the ancient artifact said, "Yeah, you piss off. I need to talk to the organ grinder, not the monkey." And looks directly to camera and talks to Desmond by name. And Ezio's like, "Who? Who's Desmond? I thought I was the hero.
I just killed the Pope. Why do I have to do this?" Yeah.
Yeah, imagine someone being like, "You've been puppeted this entire time. All your achievements weren't yours. Get fucked."
Yeah, that was a neat... I remember with Assassin's Creed 1, I was like, oh, this is a neat framing device. Like when they first revealed the game and there was glitched out stuff. You're like, oh, this isn't just about the Crusades. Pretty much, I felt like that idea had diminishing returns with literally every single game. And by this point, I'm like, just don't even pretend. Just make it a historical game. That's fine.
Did they
just give me the pirate game without the bullshit where I have to have a job at Ubisoft that I don't want.
Yeah.
You don't need to have that be a thing.
I'm trying to think if there was ever an Assassin's Creed game where they just dropped that entirely. And there's a couple where they don't really characterize the future person. They just say, "Hey, we're talking to you, the player. You are actually in the present day, and you're going through an animus thing."
I mean, I haven't rolled credits on any of these games in a really long time. Do they still?
I haven't played any of the modern ones. Black Flag was the last one I played.
Well, Origins introduced a new future character who was an archaeologist lady, and I think she was still the one experiencing the stories in
through Valhalla, Odyssey.
Valhalla. in Valhalla as well.
Yeah,
I don't know about the most recent one. That was name the bugger, the Japanese one.
Shadows.
No, I don't think Shadows did acknowledge the future plot. Not the way I remember.
10 hours I played. So again, I don't know.
Too busy having 2 characters?
Deep into those games.
I don't
Couldn't have
know.
a third character. It'd be illegal. It's too many characters.
Oh my god.
I just love the contrast between Ghost of Tsushima and not Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei and Assassin's Creed Shadows, telling pretty much the same plot, but one tells it the right way, as in focusing on the character and her revenge, and the other just saying, "Oh, and also here's this other dude who's not invested in your revenge, but joins it anyway because they've got literally nothing else to do with their time."
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're just
I
bored.
played either.
Nothing but love.
Shall we do the super chats, or did we have one last point to make on
Yeah, there was a
Resurrections?
couple other games I was gonna bring up, but some super chatters are already alluding to them. So
I'm gonna say,
righty.
I guarantee, as always, people will be talking about them.
Quite the bumper crop of super chats so far. Remember, we've got a new goal to get Nick to play the aforediscussed Sands of Time trilogy.
Ooh.
So get your super chats in to contribute towards that. We're starting with Raven with $2. Raven's weekly word of the week, week 45, malaise. Now, surely we all know what malaise means.
I do.
I've heard it.
I put May Malaise on my sandwiches.
It means a general sense of be feeling bad.
So like the past 10
Got
years or so.
malaise. Right me out.
Yeah. Like if you feel ill but can't really put your finger on why you feel ill, you just have a general malaise.
Sounds like the last 10 years.
Sinus the Hedgehog is $2 and says, love the different ways Sunset Overdrive does it. Oh, for Christ's sake. I can't remember how Sunset Overdrive did it. Take it away, Marty.
It is a variety of pop culture illusions that it pulls from. And so you'll step out of the phone booth from Bill and Ted. You'll like pop out of a DeLorean. You'll come out of the ground like a zombie. It's just like a cute little cutscene that shows how you resurrected.
I forgot about that. That game was just trying so fucking hard, wasn't it?
I know. We agree. That and Sonic Frontiers, 2 games that Marty and Yahtzee both love. I think it's nice that we found something we love.
He's just trying to get a rise out of me, listeners.
I would never.
I haven't played it. I'm impartial.
It's goaty. Most underrated game of the last 15 years.
Shut up. Fuzzy Freestyle gives $2 Canadian and says, the resurrection animation from Too Human. Ah, yes, that's one of the how not to do it examples. Presumably, as a sort of punitive measure to try and encourage you not to die, they would... Every time you died, there would be a very, very long animation of a Valkyrie picking up your body and slowly ascending through the sky to take them to paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there it goes.
That sucks.
And you just had to wait for it to be done. While you thought about what you did.
It's like in older games where, I've just been playing FF7, and you die, and then it's like, oh, you've died. Here's the death screen. Oh, then go back to the main menu and load.
Yeah, they don't
just get back to the game. It's like, fuck you, go back to the main menu. I'm like, oh.
They don't do autosaves.
So much time.
You got to feel it.
One of my biggest memories of Too Human is it came out pretty much right when like video game podcasts started, and I believe One Up or Electronic Gaming Monthly at the time gave it a very low score, like a 2 or 3 out of 10, pretty much tore it apart. And they had Dennis Diegetic on the podcast to just have a 90-minute argument with that critic, and the critic would not back down and was like, this game sucks. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. And like him talking about how much work it was to make it. And he's like, that's fine. It still sucks. It was like the most amazing, like, I don't think you should be on this podcast arguing with, like, I don't think that should be the job of making
you're doing irreparable damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really an unbiased viewpoint, is it?
No, and plus Dennis Diegetic seems a little bit crazy. That's why we haven't really gotten a big Dennis Diegetic game since then. I guess there was that X-Men Destiny game, right, which not only shut down the studio because he went to sue Epic, saying that they weren't supporting Unreal, and then they found out that the company was stealing Unreal Engine, like using unlicensed Unreal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't buy Too Human anymore.
No. Rip.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Dennis Diegetic is a story in itself. Go look for a YouTube video essay on the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, Eternal Darkness, cool game. Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, fair dues.
Yeah.
Ride of the Valkyries is a good tune. Doesn't stop Wagner being a Nazi. Anyway, Witticism gives $5 and says, I'm sure it'll be brought up, but I jumped back into Sifu over the weekend. It's little more than a limited live system, but what great presentation.
Amazing.
Very cool
A lot
presentation.
of what we're talking about is basically just limited lives. Like,
yeah.
Like Hades again, like the way you can die a couple of times, depending on how many times you've like upgraded that particular ability, and come straight back. But yeah, it's just lives. It is literally just lives.
Yeah. A lot of times it's feeding the same pill to everyone, but just wrapping it in an interesting piece of cheese. An interesting piece of cheese. Is that where we use to describe
people
cheese?
with different cheese? Because you opt into Death Defiance. It's not something you just have. And then if you don't opt into it, there are further rewards you can get. So the risk reward is different levels of cheese. I like that.
There you go.
I mean, it sort of brings up the old argument of when optimal play becomes cheating. Like if you have armor and you equip the armor with the highest stats, that's just optimal play. But if you have armor that reflects 100% of damage, that's just cheating, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the equivalent of like, there were ways to like kill. I remember like Moog in Elden Ring. You could kill him outside of his boss chamber, so you could like literally kill him before entering the boss chamber.
I did that by accident.
You could do that. You could do that.
Yeah, so it's like, is this cheating? Is this just?
Yes,
fuck it. It's Dark Souls, so let me. I'll do whatever I can to win.
It was, but I took it as soon as I realized it was bugged. I was like, "Well, this sucks. Still gonna do it. Still took that free win."
I think the games take the view, cheese a win if you can, because you're going to need all the help you can get everywhere else.
Yeah.
You can also do it with Manos in Dark Souls 1, incidentally. Kill them before you even enter the boss arena.
There you go.
That's fun.
It's Mirith D gives $2 and says, do y'all eat ham for Easter, or is it just me? Actually, I did eat ham yesterday when I went to my family Easter dinner.
Same.
But it wasn't my choice. The hosts put it on.
What would you be? What would be your choice?
Yeah, if it was your choice, if you had to put on a Easter dinner.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have an association with what dinner you eat on Easter. I just know you eat chocolate eggs at some point.
Wouldn't it just be bread and wine? That would be the
big two.
Well, that's just the what do you call it? The the word for the
Last
ritual
Supper.
in which you drink
the Last Supper
wine and eat bread.
ritual, his body and his blood.
Come on, begins with C.
Communion?
Confirmation.
Communion?
Communion. Thank you. That's just communion.
Come on.
You ever been to church, Yahtzee?
Yeah, I've taken communion. I used to be in the Boy Scouts.
You give me the vibe of someone who couldn't set foot in a church, like you'd burn or something. Like you'd.
Well, when I was in those
much.
Cub Scouts, one of our duties was church parade, where we had to go and fill up the pews in the local church every Sunday, and I would try to get out of it as much as I could. But
what do you mean fill
unless
up
I had to go. Well, obviously there weren't enough people coming to church of their own free will to fill the pews.
You literally had to go just
They were filling them up.
I thought you were like pouring like gasoline in them like a car.
No, just had to go and beep beep. Had to go and sit through the morning service.
Gotcha. That sounds awful. I'd rather be pouring gasoline on it.
Every now and again we did communion, but communion wasn't a fucking meal. You weren't expected to go, well,
no.
I guess I won't need lunch now because I've had a piece of bread.
It's literally a wafer and a sip of wine. It's nothing.
Yeah. Silence the Hedgehog comes back with $5 and says, Ape Escape 2 had a feature where you grab cookies, your health past your max amount, and when you die, the amount you got gets added back without respawning. Well, isn't that just having another health bar?
Yeah, that's almost like an E-tank in like Mega Man or Metroid. Which I always thought were strange. I was like, if this thing's going to give me health when I hit 0, why don't you just act as another health thing? Like, why are we doing this? I was always very confused by it.
Context.
Yeah. Alistair McPherson gives £5, says, Pop quiz, how many things can you name with resurrection in the title? Ooh, is this like a pub trivia event?
I like that.
All right, Matrix Resurrection.
Sure. Alien Resurrection?
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've gone blank all of a sudden.
Incredible new Chinese movie that came out last year called Resurrection. Darren wrote a column for it a week or two ago. One of the most visually stunning movies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh wow, okay. Thanks, praise.
Was there a Tomb Raider Resurrection? No, that was Tomb Raider Revelations.
There was Tomb Raider Revelations. Yeah, that's
Raid?
right. There was.
Oh no, that's Redemption.
There was a Halloween Resurrection, right?
Sure.
Yes, it was the one with Busta Rhymes.
Shout out to Busta. I think
Must
that
have
was
been Buster.
Yeah.
Busted.
Surprisingly not. I feel like there should be
help.
more resurrections.
Yeah, I could think of a few Revelations. There was an Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Sure, Resident Evil.
Jesus Christ 2, the Resurrection. Yeah, that's
Christ
one.
2, the Resurrection. Yeah.
That's funny. This turns out there aren't so many resurrections as we thought.
No, he has risen.
Anyway, easy peasy lemon squeezy gives $5 and says, the first time I played an Assassin's Creed 2, in parentheses, I was impressed that death was really just my character's avatar failing to use his VR machine properly. Yeah, well, that's one way of putting it, I suppose.
I can't get the TV working.
Yes, it was just this VR machine going when you're quite finished pissing about.
Yeah, I like that.
Murray the Demonic Skull gives $10 Canadian. Says, at some point, Bioshock games will be mentioned with Vita Chambers in 1 and parallel universe bookers in Infinite. I like
That's
when
right.
game failure is tied to narrative. See also determination in Undertale.
Yeah, we actually didn't bring up Bioshock, but that's a great example of
Yeah, it's a great example.
Diegetic.
Well, but it's functionally just like checkpoints, isn't it? I mean, it's better than the Prey resurrections because you had to actually go back to a place and then go back through the level to get to where you were, rather than just resurrecting on the spot.
But both of them do tie in with the with the story in an interesting. It's not just like there.
It gets points. It gets.
Yeah, it's not like the Prey thing where it's like, this might be a cool idea. Like it does feel like it's.
Yeah,
fully baked.
Also have very fond memories of playing Bioshock 2 and then finishing it, and on the Xbox 360, the achievements flared up for completing it, and it said I got the brass balls achievement. I was like, what the fuck is that? Because it said balls on it, so I was immediately interested, and it's for completing the game without using any of the chambers, so I did it without dying. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize. But I just vividly remember that.
It's nice when that happens. Silence the Hedgehog comes back with $5 and says, off topic, but about the Mario Galaxy movie, I haven't seen a game property become this divisive since Last of Us 2. I thought everyone loved Mario. Well, go and play fucking Mario is Missing or Hotel Mario. Or something.
The funny thing about this is I feel like the most of the argument is game fans being like, they jangled the keys and I like those keys, and movie critics being like, it is possibly legally not a movie, which is funny because games fans will do that to bad, soulless cash grab games that come out.
Yeah.
And they're the first ones to do it. Our fans do it all the time. But then when a soulless cash grab movie comes out, game fans feel like they're kind of like, wait. You got to treat this one with kids' gloves.
I guess there's the perception that we have to accept it because this is like the mainstream acknowledging our culture. And if we don't accept it, then nobody else will.
I think it's funny we're going to see this in reverse. There's going to be children that had grown up watching the Mario movies but haven't played any of the games. Then when they grow older, they'll play the game and they'll go, oh, I saw that in the movie because I did this exact thing. I've finished FF7 now. And there were moments in FF7 where I went, oh, that's from Kingdom Hearts. And someone in chat will be like, no, Jay, that's from FF7. Kingdom Hearts is referencing it.
Really quick, this is how time works. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's that thing's in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. So I've done it in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most people find out about Wagner the first time they watch that one Bugs Bunny cartoon.
You bring up Wagner a lot today. What's going on?
I don't know. I guess it's top of mind because I'm a Nazi.
Oh. Vintage.
Anyway, Peter Parker SL gives $10 and says, I remember in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you died, sometimes King Mickey would fight for and revive Sora. Yes. Are there other games you think would benefit from a Guardian Angel mechanic like that?
I do love that. I do love having kind of like a Deus Ex Machina character who in the fiction is borderline godlike come in. I always
wonder why no one ever does that for Link. Because Link's supposed to be like the chosen warrior of the gods, but the gods never. Not only do they never fucking resurrect him when he dies, they're always having him prove his worth. Every fucking temple he goes to, only the true hero will be able to get the sword. Bitch, how many fucking checks do I have to go through? Do you want this fucking Ganon dude killed or what?
It'd be cool to almost have like in Zelda, almost have like a Clash of the Titans-esque like second layer of the gods talking amongst themselves as they look down on their chosen one. Like to have Din and Pharaoh and Neru kind of like
smacks of bureaucracy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I really like the idea of a story of where there's this legendary weapon that will defeat the darkness, but all of the people who are in charge want the darkness defeated so much that they just keep handing it out to fucking anyone, just hoping they'll do it. And the quest is to go find this thing, because just plebs have got it.
Yeah, there's a story there.
That's fun.
This is what happens when you subtract the proving your worth part of the equation.
Yeah.
Also, Deeps did a good job of pointing out that the Zelda game I pitched where the gods are talking about your journey is just Immortal's Phoenix Rising. So they already made that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Also, well, it is, but only in the sense that it's also how Greek mythology worked.
Sure, yeah.
Like basically every Greek mythological story has that mechanic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Waiting for Viva Pinata 2 gives 100 arses and says, worst resurrection mechanic, a boss's second life bar, and the third, and sometimes the fourth. Still better than the eternal life bar from King Cruel from Bonanza. Rip my fingers.
I think fucking with a life bar once in a game is always cool. You do it once, cool as shit. When you fight
Ganondorf, an RPG, 3 phases, keeps transforming.
It's like Ganondorf at the end of Tears of the Kingdom, and it says like something King Ganondorf, and the health bar just keeps going past the word. And you're like, how far are you going?
Expectations, UI expectations. That's so fun.
Good. That is good.
I love that shit. Wacky shit.
I hate when a difficult Souls-like game pulls that shit out, because I get the health bar down to 0, and then they just get up again and fill the health bar again. I'm like, well, why was the bar even there? Why did it stop there? Why didn't you show me 2 bars at the same time?
Oh, that's a really good point, though, Yachts. In Sekiro, the giant ape that you kill, that you decapitate, and it says, like, you've defeated him, but then he just stands up again, picks up his own head and the sword that was in his neck, and becomes, like, another boss.
See,
that is an amazing moment.
It's kind of cool when they establish why they come back with the second health bar, like all seen and smell. But if they just like fall to one knee and then go, right, now I'm really mad, pop straight back up again, that's the shit I hate.
Agreed. Yeah. Dig it.
Anyway, Tsunami Dusha gives $20 and says nothing.
Hey, thanks, Tsunami Dusher. We also, at this point, had a Ko-Fi dono from Charno. Thank you so much, Charno. Said, I thought that this stream of Windbreaker was actually the backdrop and that you guys are going to be talking about Bygone's Resurrection, a movie Darren wrote a column about recently. Good movie to watch high on Easter edibles. Strongly recommend. Did you guys watch Bongi's Resurrection yesterday, high on Easter edibles?
Nope.
I was at Jess's parents'. That would have been a weird experience.
High on edibles talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. No joke, I explained to them that I was playing it and they had no idea what I was talking about. They had no idea.
And then I got the gold chocobo and I got the Knights of the Round and I cried.
and then Sephiroth killed me and I had to play for an hour again at 2 a.m.
Anyway, Waiting for Viva Pinata 2 comes back with 200 asses and says, 1 extra 0, I say nothing. Okay.
Are you competing with Tsunami Dusha with that?
But Tsunami Dusha says nothing. You said you say nothing, which isn't saying nothing. That is saying nothing, but it's not saying nothing.
Yeah.
You have so much to learn from Tsunami Dusha.
We'll Padawan.
Anyway, Blambda gives $10 and says, Happy Easter, much love. First saw Marty on Game Scoop and listened to ZP since maybe 2011. Love death in early Pokemon gens where you run out of Pokemon and white out, clearly implying murder.
It is funny that you kind of just like passed out and they're like, we brought you to the hospital along with your animals who have gotten the shit kicked out of them.
I guess in context, you simply fall to your knees and go catatonic with shame.
Especially if it's a Nuzlocke and you're like, oh, they're all dead. I can't use them anymore. They have been absolutely ripped.
Pludwig 101 gives $4.99, says, I enjoyed the way Shadow of Mordor / War handled Resurrections, especially how much it was entwined with the mechanics and story and Nemesis system. Ah, yes.
Yeah.
When an orc kills you, that orc becomes a named orc and enters the command hierarchy of the game. It's all very cool.
Sure.
And also just the narrative reason for the main character coming back with Celebrimbor and just the whole Wraith idea is very integral to the story. So it makes the Nemesis system be able to actually function. Nice.
It's great for creating your own stories, because I ended up getting killed by one guy so many times that he ended up being like the final boss I had to deal with.
That's so cool.
And that's a narrative arc.
Yeah.
Shame that system's patented.
Don't worry, it's going to be in the Wonder Woman game.
Parsec875 gives $10. Says, I went to Manor Bar for my 18th for my first beer. Cheer, yards, and happy to support Second Wind. Well, thank you for supporting me.
Is drinking age 18 in Australia?
Yeah. I think you'll find
Same
in
in
most
England.
first world countries it's 18.
Agreed.
But you'll also find that in those countries, teenagers will start drinking way before them.
Challenge accepted.
I don't know. It just seems weird that someone who's old enough to sign up for the military and be killed in a foreign land for the sake of a general who will never know their name,
drive a car,
should probably be allowed to drink as well. But, we're weird like that.
For those only listening, I was nodding vigorously.
Anyway, Holly.Erendell 5187 gives $7.99 $8. It says, I'm so pleased to be working now so I can support Second Wind on Patreon, but people do not like that answer when they ask why you became a doctor.
Listen, if my doctor said solely so they could support the internet goofs, I'd appreciate it.
Yes. Preferably while their hand is all the way up to the elbow in someone's ass. I want them to bring it up at exactly that moment.
Yeah.
You want to know why I'm doing this? Because I'll tell you.
Also, thanks, Holly. You're a legend. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanos
Holly.
the Hedgehog gives $2 and says, thanks, Obama.
Thanks,
Obama!
And then Thrillgamesh gives $2 and says nothing. Another one trying to steal somebody's crown.
It's spreading.
You got to give more than $2 to do that, though.
Has Tsunami Juice should just corner the market on silence?
Apparently.
On the response in an RPG.
And then Flamda comes back with $2 and says, Republic Commando, your NPC squad could revive you.
That's right.
Nice.
Those are around the same time as Gears of War also. There used to be altruism. Remember, I believe, was it Army of Two? Had had that same mechanic where you'd have to stop bleeding on people and stuff.
Yeah. The masks.
The Silence the Hedgehog comes back with $2 and says, Culture Shock's respawns felt kind of weird in a way, referring to Bioshock Infinite, which I still think should have been called Culture Shock, as I've mentioned before.
Have you mentioned it before? This is the first time I've heard it.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I was making a joke. You mentioned
he's doing a goof because you say it every episode.
I'm making a goof.
Well, I was trying to remember when specifically I first argued it should have been called Culture Shock. I think it was in a semi-ram or an extra punctuation. Anyway,
Response felt weird in a way. Well, it was leading into the multiverse, right?
Yeah, and they were weird. I mean, there's no debate. Like you have to push open your office door, and then you're back in the game, which is weird in context. That's perfectly fair to say that is weird.
Sure.
Mjester12 gives €6. It says Pathologic 2 gets harder when you die, and if you die too much, a character offers to remove that penalty for you, but at the cost of story closure. Yeah, I'm not fond of making a game harder when you die, because, No. I mean, the equivalent would be, how every time you get hurt in a classic platformer, you're invincible for a few seconds? Well, the equivalent would be every time you get hurt, you take more damage for a few seconds. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a, giving the player a chance to regroup sort of perspective.
No.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's one of the cool reasons why I don't like Demon Souls, because not only is it you've died, we're going to have your health, and also your resource is finite, so now you have less of the healing items as well. Get fucked. Go farm or cry.
Yeah,
that's not a fan.
A classic mistake Bloodborne made as well.
Yeah, Bloodborne was a big one for me, especially early on when you're kind of bashing your head against the wall against the early bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful Q gives $5. It says, came in late. Did we bring up Sekiro? As who's we? Beautiful Q.
Jay brought up Sekiro.
Yeah, we brought up Sekiro.
I think games for babies. I think games for babies.
Fucking what?
Yeah, I think games for babies. I'm not able to beat it, so I think it's for babies. I got about an hour into it. It was too hard.
Blue Eyes White Granddad is actually really hard.
It's for babies who are better at the game than you.
It's for babies with extremely gifted
reaction times.
Reaction times, exactly. Sweaty babies. It's for sweaty babies.
It's for sweaty babies. It's a sweaty baby game.
You don't want a sweaty baby.
No,
That's
they all got a fever.
Yeah. Sinos the
Fever
Hedgehog.
of sweaty baby.
Sinos the Hedgehog gives $2. It says Sonic Mania's Encore mode used character swapping.
What does that mean?
Okay. I have no idea.
As in, like, if one dies, the next one comes in line?
I guess that makes sense.
I'm really excited.
Tails.
What do you think about the rumors we're getting Sonic Frontiers 2 this year?
Well, I'll play it. That's as much as I'll say at this point.
I'll play it because I have to, because it's my job.
Yeah. Nitron F117 gives $9.99 and says, one of the first games that blew my mind in terms of a Deathstroke resurrection mechanic was Braid. Arguably, you avoid death entirely by rewinding time to undo your mistake. Diegetic and fast. Yes, also Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Sands of Time, yeah.
Yeah, that was there was between that and Super Meat Boy, which were Braid and Super Meat Boy were right around the same time. I think both Xbox Live Summer of Arcade games. Super Meat Boy with the instant respawns, which has kind of become like a staple of platformers when we talk about uber difficult games. And then Braid having you literally in control of it. I thought two interesting ways too.
Yeah.
I think Hotline Miami was
another great example.
Example of instant respawners as well. Because in that game, it's literally about keep trying, keep hurling yourself against the wall until things work out.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuss Road Duck give member for 25 months in the Green Gang says roast lamb is always the best Easter meal.
Ooh,
I mean it's on topic. Lambs,
I've never cooked.
spring.
I've never cooked lamb. I like lamb from restaurants. I've never bought and cooked lamb.
I used to like buying like a lamb, some like a cubed lamb at the supermarket, and I'd cook it in a pan with a simmer sauce, like a curry sauce.
Okay, yeah. Oh, like a little lamb curry.
I used to like doing that for like a cheap, easy to make meal.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Love it.
But I haven't had lamb in a while now. You bring it up.
Yeah.
Parsec comes back with $8. It says, never been able to catch live as I'm in Oz, but seems like this is the time, so have some money.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bud.
Congrats on Australia having an 18-year-old drinking age.
The Man in Black gives $5 and says, I always enjoyed how the Batman Arkham series would show the villains gloating whenever you die. Yeah, I liked
it's fun.
Yeah, I did like how they did it. It was short and to the point and helped build the world. What was your favourite one? Mine one was the Riddler's in Arkham Knight, where he comes on and goes, "Oh my god, I actually did it!"
Yeah, he's all stoked. That feels like that's like in the same oeuvre as dying in Metal Gear and having one of your pals just start screaming your name. Yeah, except it's like instead of the people who care about you, it's the people who are like
trying to kill you. I miss rewards for death. You know, like in old like FMV games where you'd get like a little unique death cutscene for like each screen you're on. It's so much work, but it was like, I mean, I've died, but at least I get to see this. Right?
Is that like the equivalent now of like, here's Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, and if you die during these QTEs, you're going to see some real nasty shit. Yeah.
I miss it.
Makes me think of the Sierra adventure games, like the Space Quest games, where they'd kill you for the slightest mistake. But some people like found fun in looking for all the creative and fun deaths.
Like Dragon's Lair and stuff.
See them all.
Yeah. Anyway, A Winged Potato gives $1.89. Says Resurrection, a Biohazard story.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was the name of the Resident Evil fan film.
Oh,
I was talking about the other week, starring the
with the OG actors?
played the actors in the
Sorry, I just want
FMV.
I just want to like follow up a thought I just had coming back from the previous super chat. What if there was a game where you had the Batman Arkham style thing, but for every time you saw a new one, you got like a collectible card, like when you shag people in The Witcher 1, and it had a game mechanic out of collecting all the cards of
get killed by one things. Of everyone.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
That'll be fun.
Fill out your sticker album. I need
you keep it in your apartment and someone looks at it and is like, what's the deal with these cards? You're like, oh, it's every time I died.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What?
I keep getting killed by poison ivy, but she keeps giving me the same bloody line. I need the one where she shows her bum to the camera.
I need this shiny bum sticker.
Yeah. Anyway. Subverting gives €10 and says Spec Ops The Line did the normal checkpoints most of the game, but towards the end, Walker sometimes reacts to his own respawning, and you get weird hallucinations showing his sanity breaking down. I didn't know that.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think especially during the final mission or two, you'll like pop back in and like Walker will be like extremely like just angry at the situation and like get me the fuck back in there. You're like, you just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In sense of time, every now and again, after you rewound time, if Farah was there, sometimes she'd go, "That's weird. I just had the strangest sense of deja vu."
Ah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love everything to do with the Prince and Farah, and the time mechanics is so great. I love that game.
You're gonna love that. You're gonna love that remake. Rip.
No, we won't, because it will never come out.
R.I.P.
Anyway, Sinos the Hedgehog gives $2 and says, "Who loves the many classic Crash Bandicoot deaths?" Yeah, another game
like
that
his
could have
genes.
handed out
Yeah.
like collectible cards for all the way you can die.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
it when a
it's a good
kid's
one.
game kind of makes it makes them cheeky. You don't gotta feel
Yeah.
bad. You just get eaten by a shark, but it looked silly when you got eaten by a shark.
Yeah, have some cheeky fun. Karma gives $5 and says, "Off topic, Jermaine, do you think it is better to do colorblind adjustments through a shader or post-processing?"
Good question. There are pros and cons to doing both, but I would probably say doing maybe like hue adjustments on shaders might be cheaper than a post-processing, because that's post-processing, for anyone who doesn't know, is like filter over the entire scene that is constantly updating itself. So potentially through shaders, I've never implemented, well, I have once, but it was only on a prototype. I've never seen it at full production scale. So I would say shaders now, but it is possible through post-processing.
Okay.
I don't know
Thank
what
you
was
for
going on
that
there.
boring
Incredible.
question.
I think that was great.
Parsec gives $2 and says, "Snake.
Dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Dara O'Brien has a funny stand-up routine on this very topic. If you look up his
Yeah.
video games routine, he talks about how when he plays Metal Gear Solid, Snake dies a lot. And you'd think that every now and again, they'd be a little, their enthusiasm would be a little diminished in their yelling of his name. Think every now and again they just go, "Ah, Snake."
Snake. That one's on you, actually. That was silly
Yeah.
of you. Not even sad that time.
Zaratha gives $5 says, "A quick tip before buying lamb, beware of the brand Borghini." Okay,
What?
I will do that.
I'm gonna buy Borhini
Eric's pulling it up.
as a
There
threat.
it is.
Whatever you say.
That's shoes, Eric.
Yeah, those are shoes. It's a great little fan edit of shoes that you made.
Maybe that's a different Borghini. Who knows?
No, it can only be
Maybe.
one.
Anyway, lamb. I mean, if you have lambs in a place, you could probably also make leather shoes in that place made out of the lamb's skin.
Shoes are not
Oh,
commonly made in slaughterhouses.
Lamborghini.
Oh,
Lamborghini.
Rathbo, you're too smart for us.
Lamborghini.
Oh my god.
I googled
No.
Burghini and I was like, I'm not getting anything. What is
Maybe
going on with
we'll-
these Burghinis?
maybe we're all tired and hungry.
We're also dumb. That's the thing we're not factoring in. Dumb as rocks.
Blamder gives $5 and says, "My favorite resurrection is Second Wind.
Aww.
And Jesus, but I put his super chats in a plate that gets passed around every Sunday."
I like the idea that money on Sunday, that's just religious super chats.
Yeah.
Young Yahtzee stuff, pass
fun,
him
though.
ahead because he ain't
It's fun,
donating.
Parsec
Thank you, dude.
gives $8 and says, "Who's the Second Wind member that comes in for the rescue after a defeat?"
Eric.
Probably
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah, probably
It's
Eric.
Eric,
Yeah,
hands
probably.
down.
Got to be Eric.
Probably Eric.
Thank you.
Well, that was the last super chat. So on that note, thank you for listening to the Windbreakers podcast. In which
Was
we
that
talked
Eric who
about-
handed you the water off screen right there?
It was, yeah. He's come to the rescue because my
Incredible.
mouth is swollen to fuck.
We were talking about resurrections because of Jesus, even though Easter isn't technically a Christian holiday. Please refer to the beginning of this podcast for that discussion. I was Yahtzee Croshaw. I make things, including Fully Ramblematic, which will be coming out this week, and we'll be on the subject of a little game called Esoteric Ebb, a little fun little indie to fill the gaps between the big titles. Do tune in to hear my thoughts on that game, and also Yahtzee Tries, the stream on Wednesday. I'm thinking of playing one of the new Jesus games on that. Probably I Am Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Who
Jesus.
knows? Who knows? It might be a world beater.
Incredible.
You never know till you try.
Mhm.
And don't forget, I've got a semi-ram on the Thursday which this week will be on the subject of I've forgotten again. It's a banger. Check it out.
Oh, it's you don't know how to have fun anymore.
Oh yes, the subject of have I forgotten how to have fun? Inspired by a comment you'd be surprised to hear.
Oh, I can't remember you mentioned that the other day.
Also, according to Eric, Jesus Simulator has been delisted on PS5, so we're gonna download it while the download is good.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, Jay and Marty were here too, and now they will plug their things.
What do you have going on, Jay?
Jay? I think we might have lost him.
All right, that's fine. I'll plug for the both of us. What do we have?
Sort of meditative state.
He drank too much of that water. He drank too much of Eric's water and just went nuts. Later today, we're going to have Hidden Gems, Hot Money Energy at the normal time. Tune in for that. Tomorrow, we'll have a new episode of The Backdrop, as well as a Rewind podcast where we'll be chatting about the aforementioned Mario Galaxy movie. Tune in for that. And then, normal stuff the rest of the week. And in terms of Jay, he'll have a new design delve a week from today, and it will be on Final Fantasy VII, which he played for the first time. So there you go.
Yeah, he's not coming back. I wonder if he thinks he's still on the call. I wonder if
if he's like, it's kind of weird. They're kind of rudely talking over me. Like, I don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. See you all on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for hanging out.